Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Sorry if I sound different. It's because I do sound different, because I'm a little sick. But that's not going to stop us from talking about Fire Emblem, so here I am. Today I want to talk about accessibility in Fire Emblem, and why it is a good thing. We'll also talk about whether or not it hurts the game experience in any way for those who are maybe veterans of the series. But I want to talk about it and also get your guys' thoughts and opinions on it in the comments. So, let's talk about the things that have been introduced into the series to make it more accessible to newcomers. The first thing that comes to mind is Fire Emblem 7, or just called Fire Emblem in the States, or in Japan, the subtitle is a subtitle of Blazing Sword or Blazing Blade. It had Lyn mode. Lyn mode was just a 10 map tutorial, essentially. It was kind of painful to get through, but it taught you everything you needed to know to play the game on the most basic level, and that's a good thing. I think that is a good step towards making the game more accessible to newcomers. There's also Path of Radiance had a very extensive guide and tutorials that were really well made and thought out. You find something similar in Radiant Dawn that were really well made. Shadow Dragon had the prologue tutorial stuff, which was okay. Shadow Dragon also introduced a bazillion different difficulties, had 5 of them. Well, actually 6 of them, really. Normal and then 5 hard modes, right? Or that's how it is, right? It's normal and then 5 hard modes, which is a bit excessive, but normal mode, I hope that's where most people started with that game, because it teaches you well and you get to enjoy the story and the experience. And then we get to New Mystery of the Emblem, which introduces casual mode. Casual mode versus classic mode. I think the biggest problem with casual mode is the name casual mode. But before we get into that, casual mode, essentially, when a unit dies, they just come back to the next chapter. There's no permadeath. There's no permanent death of units. But the name casual mode suggests that there is a hardcore mode, or that if you're playing this, you are a quote-unquote filthy casual, which has a negative connotation in just the gaming community as a whole. And I feel like especially in Fire Emblem, people love to call people casuals, which I don't know why that's a bad thing. I don't know, just to casually enjoy a game. I don't feel like you have to be super hardcore to play video games. So I think that's the first problem with the name. With the game, with casual mode, is the name. But overall, I think it's a good thing. And so we've seen casual mode in every game since then, since FE12, since New Mystery of the Emblem. Awakening, basically the same stuff. Fates introduced Phoenix mode, which we haven't seen again. Phoenix mode was literally a unit dies, they come back to life the next chapter. It is impossible to lose. You cannot lose Phoenix mode. You will win eventually. Because you can't, they just come back. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly, but there it is. It's a thing. It is a thing. Phoenix mode happened. We can all admit that it happened. I don't think that is a little too accessible for my taste, but I don't know. So maybe someone wanted to experience the story or something for some reason, or they really liked the unit building, or the creating the most powerful characters possible, and didn't want to have to worry about winning maps and stuff. Maybe people just like seeing the numbers go up or getting new skills. I get that. That's cool. But Phoenix mode might have been a step in the wrong direction as far as accessibility goes. Makes the game a little too easy. And then Echoes and Three Houses introduced Divine Pulse, or Milos Turmoil in Echo's case. And those are probably the biggest sticking point I see with people with quote-unquote veterans of the series. People have been playing it for a while. They see Divine Pulse as a crutch that hurts and hampers the game experience. And I don't think it necessarily needs to be that way. I don't think people need to feel that way about it. I don't believe in the whole Divine Pulse is optional shenanigans. That's just I hate that argument. I think it's a stupid argument, because I pretty firmly believe that Three Houses was designed with Divine Pulse in mind, and I don't think that is inherently a bad thing. I think there are chapters where it's done well. I look at chapter 5 in part 1, that there's some reinforcements and stuff, but it's kind of like, oh, you have Divine Pulse, you should be fine, kind of thing. And you have and it happens at a point in the map where you should still have at least a couple of uses, unless you're like just burning through them for some reason. But you should still have some uses of Divine Pulse. So on a blind playthrough, those ambush reinforcements are something. It's something that you should be able to run into, and be like, oh no, that was bad, Divine Pulse, and then be okay. So I pretty firmly believe that Three Houses was designed with Divine Pulse in mind. Again, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But I think it's less optional, especially on a blind playthrough. I think it's less optional than people make it out to be. That's everyone's favorite argument to make about Divine Pulse, is that it's optional, and it's not. I don't think that's a fair thing to say. I will admit though that Three Houses does make it frustrating at times. Giving enemies, really, it almost gives the enemies more of an advantage than your usual Fire Emblem game on any given map. Because you have the Divine Pulse. So that can be frustrating to the player, especially if you're trying to play without Divine Pulse for some reason. You have some sort of badge of pride you want to wear that says I don't use Divine Pulse or something, but like, just use Divine Pulse. Like when you play through FE6, do you use save states? Like, come on, just use Divine Pulse. Like, whatever. I mean, I used to use save states. The only reason I really don't anymore is because I play all my Fire Emblem in front of 30 to 50 other people who would judge me if I did. A lot of them probably wouldn't, but there's some that would really, the really loud ones would, and so I just don't use save states. Now, is this accessibility hurting the series in any way? Is this accessibility hurting the series in any way? And that's the big question that I want to ask you guys. I'm curious what you have to say on this topic. Personally, I really don't think so. Especially in the case of Divine Pulse and Miller's Turnwheel. If anything, that just means Fire Emblem respects my time more than it used to. I appreciate that. Losing units at the very end of a map or dying to the boss or something is so painful. Just let me Divine Pulse to the turn before. Let me figure it out. So painful. Or getting a game over late in the map is just so painful, especially on like longer maps. Like, do you ever play like Path of Radiance Endgame? Takes a day and a half to get to the end of the map, and then Ike dies to Ashnard or something, and then it's a reset. It's like, dude, they have to do it again. That sucks. But with Divine Pulse, just go back, you heal up Ike a little bit or something, or fix your mistake, and then you don't have to spend all day again. You don't have to spend another hour playing to the end of the map again. You just get to play it. And I think that's a good thing. I do think that's a good thing. Respecting people's time is good. Anyways, yeah, so I don't think accessibility really hurts the series. If anything, it just helps it become more popular, which is a good thing. I don't think they're going to take out permadeath anytime soon, because it's just antithetical to what Fire Emblem is. I think we're getting to the point where permadeath is becoming an afterthought rather than the norm. Kind of like how the game is meant to be played. But we'll see more about that as future installments start to come out. Anyways, thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, all that stuff I'm supposed to say. And I'll catch you next time, friends.